So that forced me to face the end of my image of myself as someone with a working body. And it was a death. It was a serious death to my conception of myself. Some people might say that people, when they're young, feel they're invincible. I never felt that way. However, I had never felt that kind of pain, nor lost the use of my legs. So I definitely experienced my frailty. And I didn't know where I was going after that. And the surgery was iffy. I actually had the surgeon wake me up after he waited after the surgery in post-op, which I found out later they don't often do. They don't often wait to see if you how you're doing. They wait till you're back in the room and they see you later. But he waited for me. I remember him waking me up, saying my name, and I'm like, what? He said, I've never had someone walk into my office with your kind of spinal trauma. I never want you to work again. And I said, Social Security has already denied me twice. He said, don't worry about it. I'll sign the paperwork. I'll do the paperwork. I am amazed that you're even able to feel your legs. So I had a free-floating fragment. I had herniated a disc, and it was a free-floating fragment pinching up against my spinal cord, and it had done some severe nerve damage. And I attribute my mother's disgust and my shame to the inspiration of the will to life. And I say to people, you know, when life presents herself, man usually rises to the occasion. And that is part of the power the female has at her disposal. I don't think my mom had a clue that with her response in that instant was going to be the thing that was going to give me the courage to walk again. And I didn't really understand how serious it was until that surgeon told me that. Social Security ended up denying me again, and my parents told me, well, you know, get out of the house. We want nothing to do with you if you're not going to work. And you know, so I went back to work, and within another 12 months of going back to work, I needed another surgery. And then after that, within 12 months of going back to work, I injured myself again, and I figured 3 times the charm. Okay, I'll get an attorney. And the attorney, you know, after 2 years of fighting, you know, 6 years total fighting with Social Security. The first 2 times I gave up, went back to work, injured myself again. You know, I think back about this, and I think, God, I'm so blessed that the body is made, and I was gifted by grace a body that could regenerate itself. It's just amazing. The attorney ended up writing one sentence. Because Damon has such and such a situation, he's eligible for Social Security, which was the exact same thing my first surgeon said and wrote on the paperwork. So as far as insurance companies go, I don't have a pleasant experience with them. I feel they're devoid of, my friend calls it, endowed with something less than humanity. Anyway, we all rationalize and justify what we do. for our own means and ends. And hey, I'm still kicking. In fact, the first time I ever collected on insurance, I had full comprehensive on my car. So even an act of God, you know, a tree falling during a storm on my car, everything was covered. If I ran into an animal, everything was covered. And I had swerved to miss a dog, got my front tire in the ditch, and as I told you, I lived in a rural area. And so the ditch on the side of the road is a pretty large ditch. And it just pulled my car right into it and turned it over. And so my car was totaled, a used car. I was fine. And the insurance agent actually told me, Damon, you're not supposed to collect on your insurance. You collected on your insurance, we're not going to insure you anymore. And I've been told at the time that's illegal. That was illegal for them to do. Yeah, I ended up meeting him years later after this shift that had occurred that I was talking about in the first clip, where my body and my face and everything had changed after an experience that I'll get to. And he had had a near-death experience. He was diagnosed with cancer, and he wasn't sure if he was going to live at the time. And I had met him at where I was doing my physical therapy, and we had a meeting of the minds and the hearts, and it was rather bittersweet because I understood at the time, you know, we live our lives based on our choices, and we can do what is asked of us or is behaviorally normal, quote unquote, for our career, whatever, our field of endeavor. But that does not mean we are to do that. I think everything is a challenge and an opportunity to bring our humanity to what we create and what is our vehicle of expression. And by that insurance agent telling me that I was wrong and punishing me by not allowing me to have insurance because I collected on it, I didn't agree with that. Something less than human. But I suppose he wasn't paid to be a human. Anyway, we got to share spiritual insights, and he realized that I understood things at a depth level that I was able to share in a very loving and caring manner that he wasn't able to. And it made him think of his own son, who was younger than I was, and it made him think of my father, his peer. And he just thought of that for a bit and then started talking about his next vacation because he was so rich. The rest of his life was just one vacation after another vacation after another vacation, planning the next vacations from the vacations of the vacations, with all the money he made being an insurance agent. We cover up a lot of our shortcomings with things, stuff. And, you know, I didn't have cancer. It's frightening. I've been through enough of those near-death experiences to realize, hey, it comes and it goes, baby. Rock on with your bad self, basically, is what I told him. And that I was happy for him and that, you know, seize the day sort of thing.